When you think about what those people fought for, and then you look at our country today, we, I think, could rightly be condemned for not honouring what they fought for. Can you honestly say that the Britain that we look at today is something that those soldiers died for? A country of soy snowflakes, a culture that doesn't know itself, a lost sense of identity, communistic ideas that mean that we can't even tell what a man and a woman is. The reality is that we have dishonored the great sacrifice of all those millions of soldiers. And why? Because we haven't preserved the nation and the culture that they died for. But you look at our culture today and look at how many Nazi ideas we've incorporated into our culture. We're introducing a euthanasia law. That was something the Nazis did. We've introduced an abortion law. That's something that the Nazis did. We've introduced into this country the idea of legal polyamory. That was something the Nazis did. We've introduced into this country the idea that a gay couple can go to some other part of the world, buy a child and raise it as their children, denying that child access to their real mother or their real father or both. The Nazis did that when they kidnapped thousands of children who were blonde-haired and blue-eyed. In countless ways, we have started to incorporate Nazi ideas. Why? Because Nazism and liberal secular humanism have the same root. Nazism is a cult of liberalism. And so the reason why we had to fight Nazis in the first place was because of the very liberal ideals that the soldiers were fighting for. We haven't been raised with the kind of stoicism and manliness that the previous generations were raised with. Fix it and make do. Carry on. These kinds of phrases only made sense in a culture that taught the virtue of perseverance. We don't live in that culture anymore. Today everybody's competing to be a victim. The contract between the governed and the governors has been broken by the government, by the social elites. They have betrayed the British people by creating a two-tier police force, a two-tier judiciary, and now, with its recent trade deal with India, a two-tier economy in which it is more expensive to employ a British-born worker than to employ an Indian immigrant. They have created a two-tier culture. And the people, many people in this country, feel stabbed in the back by our social elites. So why would we fight for them? Everyone who comes to this country must integrate by law. And that should be seen by conduct, in terms of the language you speak, in terms of the things that you protest about, in terms of the things that you say politically, in terms of where you send your charity, in terms of how you dress, in terms of how you eat. Integration must be an expectation within a flexibility that is permitted by the Catholicity of the Church. It must not be an option. And those that refuse to integrate must either be deported or they must be made outlaws. In other words, beyond the protection of the state. If you want to be alien, if you want to be foreign, if you hate this country, there should be no space for you. You must be driven out. Integration must be absolute.